Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti, along with Acacia Courtney. And there you see partly cloudy skies. We've got a fast main track. And we have a firm turf course this afternoon. A little later on, $1.25 million in the jackpot guarantee. But lots going on this weekend. Acacia just two days away from the Curlin Florida Derby.
Oh, yeah, you can feel the buzz this week. It's very exciting and hard to believe the final week of the championship meet. I think a big conversation this year, Ron, and we mentioned it at the draw yesterday, is where we were last year for the Florida Derby, the first big racing event without spectators when everything shut down due to COVID-19. So very proud of what we've seen our industry do over the past year and very thankful for our wonderful fans and excited for a great Curlin Florida Derby this year.
Yeah, and kudos to all the people here that kept the racing going, all the people on the backstretch and everything did a fantastic job. So this year we'll have a limited amount of fans. And going into the weekend, we've got the Florida Derby, of course, but on Friday we have Beat the Expert.
You had to say it, didn't you? Beat the Expert coming up on Friday. It's my final Beat the Expert of the meet, as I'll be shipping up with many of the horses and horsemen next week. But I hope that you will participate. It's free to play. As always, go to the Gulfstream Park website. Get your picks in for tomorrow's 10-race card.
And also on tomorrow, on Friday, boy, last week in the Stronach 5, they bet $1 million into it. We had that guarantee going into it. I mean, we had a pool going into it, and they bet over $1 million. We are part of it. We're the final leg of the Stronach 5 on Friday afternoon.
Yeah, the cash out is 2 races from Laurel. We head out to California. Then we wrap things up here in South Florida on Friday, race 10, that low 12% takeout. It's Overlay City, as Pete Aiello always says.
Yeah, so we got lots going on this weekend, and of course Saturday, 10 stakes, 9 of them graded. It's going to be quite an afternoon, and that kicks off at 11:30 a.m. our first race post. But we got today to deal with, and we got a couple of pick fives in the offing this afternoon, and you have a early pick 5 ticket.
I do, and of course looking forward to that Saturday card. 6 of them graded, and 10 stakes in total. But no stakes today, Ron. But we do have a pretty fun sequence here. It kicks off in the opener, 2-1 right now on the number 7 BC Bell, who's dropping in class. I found it a pretty tricky race to open with, so I'm 3 deep in here. I've got 3 horses in the second race as well. Those are some tough, hard-knocking campaigners in race number 2. The third race, 2 horses. Choose to Be Happy is interesting on the drop in class off the layoff. We've seen several layoff runners recently. Freddie Plesa Jr., 2 in the 4th, and in race number 5, I've got the number 8 Trapezoid and the 6 Mead, who's in good form recently. That's a $36 play.
Yeah, me, trained by Oscar Gonzalez. Yeah, in this first race, there's a 2-1 favorite up there, but there's a bunch of different ways you can go to kick off the early Big 5. But we will start with that 7 BC Bell, who's dropping to the 16 level today after debuting locally. Now, that was at the $50,000 level. Made that middle move into the pace, but faded to finish seventh, going the mile on the grass for Phil Serpy, Junior Alvarado. I mean, the big allure is the drop in class this afternoon.
And it is a pretty big drop in class. After running against New York Bred Maiden Special Weight Company all throughout 2020, faced Open 50 last time, was a big price, and as you said, made the middle move and faded. But Lalula, who did win the race, did do so impressively. And I think the significant drop in class down to the 16 makes this one a very big player. However, I have my eyes on the 3, Not Tonight Bobby, who at first glance, it looks like the last race was a bad effort, but go back and watch this race. This horse, there was another horse in the field that was very rank and headstrong, hard to handle early on. It completely pushed this horse out early on in the race, just took totally her out of position, made her lose a lot of ground into the first turn, had to come back and steady. The field then ended up all strung out with that commotion at the back, and then she was in tight again late. She had a nightmare trip last time out. The blinkers go on, and good to see both Ortiz brothers back riding. If you were wondering where they were, they rode at Fairgrounds this past weekend. Needed to pass quarantine and protocols, but glad to see them both back here.
Yeah, they'll be here for the whole weekend. Everybody's back. Johnny Velasquez, we got them all. The only one not back is Luis Sayers, who went straight to Dubai.
That's
so
right.
Everybody here for the final 3 days of the meet. Let's see, Thursday, 4 days of the meet. Yeah. So I got an interesting horse in here, Keisha. That's the 11 R10 Angels, who goes back to the grass today after failing to show much against those 35 maidens sprinting on the dirt. The trainer is Jesus Lander. Boy, what a summer he had. He was winning races. Not many starters, but at a 42 or something percent rate. MSCL Jaramillo handling the surface switch. I think this horse might be a little bit of a sneaky in the opening leg.
And you might get a bit of a price, too, as the Barnes just won for 10 this meet, but hasn't had many starters, as you mentioned. I thought the 4 Watermelon Sugar could also be interesting by Justice Dream, and had 2 siblings that won on the grass.
Yeah, Brett to love the turf, that one. Second race this afternoon. Well, we got a school. We got someone joining our show right now, Acacia.
We do. Special guest here is trainer Shug McGay. He's schooling. Greatest Honor will be the heavy favorite, I'm sure, in this weekend's Curl and Florida Derby. Of course, won the Holy Bull and Fountain of Youth. And Ron, I think it's amazing. He's looking to become the first horse to sweep all 3 of our preps here at Gulfstream Park.
Yeah, we were all looking it up, but you guys were all looking it up in the office yesterday. I mean, it's amazing. You would think with all the great horses that have won 2 of those 3, there would be someone that got all 3. So he has a chance, and following the same path for Shug that produced Orb's Kentucky Derby victory. So 6-5 on the morning line, and he's looking good as he always does.
I see Phil and Ed from the media office, everybody out there getting a look at the big horse. And I got a chance to go up to Payson Park on Sunday, see his final workout, speak to his trainer, Shug McGay. He and Shug said that his work was similar to what he saw before the Fountain of Youth, but perhaps a little bit better, which I thought was pretty key, too. And he's never been a very flashy workhorse, but excited to see him. I think he's going to love getting a little bit more distance, as those mile and a 16th races that he's been running in are the first finish line. Now he gets to go the mile and an 8th.
Yeah, and he's got a real good post. He'll be breaking from post to 7, so no problems with the posts. They're going to be a great race. Got a couple of really lightly raced horses in that race that can turn out to be something special, along with, of course, Greatest Honor. So good luck to them all on Saturday. But we do have race number 2 today, 7 furlong claimer, 4 and up, 12.5 down to $10,000. And this one kicks off the first of 2 pick 4s. And I went with the number 7 in here, High Heater, who's tried to make it 2 in a row after holding on gamely to defeat Similar at the distance on that wet track, listed as good. Do we have that performance, I think,
we do.
to show?
Yeah, we have that performance last time out. Was the number 1 that day, this Colt by Creative Cause. And I wanted to show it, Ron, because he was up front ahead of the rest of the field. Surf Shack is the 5 inside, closing up the rail. And typically when it is a track with some moisture in it, horses do tend to stay off the rail a bit. So I think that was the thought process there. Couple of tense moments, I think, down to the wire, but this one held on gamely.
Yeah, that's for Peter Walder. So I looked up a stat on Peter Walder with winner last out, sprints in the dirt right here at Gulfstream Park. He's solid, 20%, 54% in the money, $1.66 is the return of investment. So we gave you a replay, we gave you a stat, we gave you everything on the number 7 High Heater. But Acacia did not pick this horse. No, she went with the 1 Zippy, I believe.
I like to be difficult. I think everybody knows that at this point. Well, I saw a little bit of pace in here. I think Chill Haze will be the main speed. We know High Heater has some speed. We know that Why Are You Awesome has some speed. And Zippy just really intrigued me. Guadalupe Preciado sometimes can kind of slide under the radar, but just has really good numbers, turf to dirt, 26% on the year. And it's also a drop in class, as he's just been facing much better. I mean, on turf and on dirt as well. The last win, I know it was an off-the-turf race, but did come on the main track, is versatile, will be a closer, and does draw Irad Ortiz. I think if you get anything close to the 8-1 morning line on Irad Ortiz, this is the time to bet it.
You're not getting 8-1 on Irad Ortiz.
No, I don't think so.
You can forget that. But you mentioned the 3, Why Are You Awesome, was dropping to the 12.5 level today, stretching out to the 7 furlongs after coming up only that neck short against those 16 starter allowance runners, going 5 on that rained-off turf sprint for Marcial Navarro. Angel Arroyo returning. This is a 4-time winner at this tricky or boutique 7 furlong distance. Some horses like it, some don't. And that I always give a horse a second look when they run well at this distance.
Yeah, how can you not like this horse? He's a 10-year-old. He's a 15-time winner. He's raced 70 times. He always shows up. And the horse that beat him last time, Legal Deal, switched to the turf yesterday and was beaten by like a neck in that race. Ran very, very well switching to the turf. So I think it did flatter Why Are You Awesome, who's kept some good company. Ran against Untitled 2 starts back as well.
Well, let's go to race number 3. We're going to stay on the turf. 5 furlongs. Going back to the turf, I should say. Maiden claim is Fillies and Mastering up 25 down to 20. Not many scratches on today's card, and certainly no scratches in this race. I did go with the number 4, See Me a Laugh, who with making the third start of her current form cycle after following that second place finish at this level and distance, a couple of starts back. Had a little bit of trouble last time out. Was in tight quarters for Mike McDonald, who does most of his training up there in Canada. Edgar Zayas in the saddle.
And this one was tough for me to take because she is 0 for 12, and she's run some good races that would put her in the mix in here, but she was beaten by a couple of others in this field last time out. I know that she was a little bit tight early on, but she typically doesn't have much speed. So I proceeded with a little bit of caution when it came to her. I did end up landing on, and a little bit begrudgingly, the number 3, Choose to Be Happy, as it is a significant layoff of about 14 months. Hasn't raced since the beginning of January, or the mid-January, I should say, in 2020. But the biggest draw with her is that she's only ever run against Maiden Special Weight Company, and she ran a string of very good in-the-money performances and was just facing significantly better than what she has today. She's also been training really sharply for the comeback for Eddie Plesa Jr.
Yeah, and Eddie, we saw him last week bring a horse back from almost 2 years to win, so we certainly know he can do that. The 6, Alluring Rumble, I have a third, you have in second. Wheels back, tracked the pace, finished an even third behind a horse that I had in second. That's Mudslide Wicked, when they hooked up back on February 24th. So the 2 has had a race since then. Trainer Bruno Desori has Emisi El Jaramillo in the saddle.
I almost put this one on top because she does have some tactical speed, but I think that she needs to take a step forward off of that last effort.
Yeah, Mudside Wicked has run well. Beaten the neck, went second at this level 2 back, and was second again when dropped to the 16 level for Maria Mejia, Angel Arroyo. But you got to get this horse out of second gear. I put him in second gear this afternoon, or second place, I should say. On the turf for race number 4, about 7 1/2. These are claimers, Fillies and Mares, 4 and up. Non-winners of 3 in life do have a jockey change on the 6. Make that rider Marcos Meneses. And you started it off in here, and I started it off in here with the number 8, Sky Snow.
Yeah, we finally agree on our exacta here. The 8, Sky Snow, has some tactical speed. Ran a good second last time. First off the claim for Carlos David, and switching to the turf, has a little bit of back class. I thought it was a good performance from her, and one that she certainly could build off of, and I think finds the right spot.
Yeah, I think the turn back to about 7 1/2 is going to be good. We both have the number 5, Ghostly Beauty, stepping up to the next level, and I think we're going to go back and show you this race. And Mike Baker's got a rat, I think, going for 2 in a row in this horse. There you are.
Yeah, absolutely. And this second victory was a long time coming for Ghostly Beauty, as she just always took money. She was always a short price, and she would just often finish second. This time it looked like that was going to be the case once again. However, she was just gobbling up the ground late, and she finished up nicely. She did get the win by 2 lengths, and sometimes with horses like this that take a long time to win, they come back and they win or run very well again. It's either the light bulb clicked, they have something behind the scenes that's been addressed or fixed, and they continue on in a good way. But a horse like her, who just always took money and would never really seem to win, it's tough to trust them at potentially a short price. I also preferred that Sky Snow has a little bit more positional speed, whereas Ghostly Beauty tends to come from really far off of it.
One other horse I just wanted to mention was the new number 2, Kasseri, who hasn't been in action since she was showing speed against Silmer. That was last August. She was pretty good then. She had 9 starts, a couple of wins, second and a third, coming back for Bobby DeBona. Emisi El Jaramillo atop this probable piece of the pace puzzle. Just a speed play for me at, I believe, 7 or 8 to 1.
No, it's a tricky race, too. You wonder, is the number 8, Sky Snow, going to show up, or is Ghostly Beauty going to put back-to-back wins together? If it's not one of those two, it's very wide open.
Well, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have the Rainbow 6, my Rainbow 6 ticket. Welcome back to Gulfstream. Today we're on an Acacia, race number 5 on a Thursday afternoon. We'll kick off the Rainbow Six. It's a mild starter optional claimer for 4 and up. And we have my ticket of $48.60. I did find a single today that I hope will win, and it comes all the way in race number 9. It's the 5 Tracy Ann's Legacy. Just a long shot play for me. I know you use both Mead and Trapezoid in your early pick 5. Have those 2 on my ticket, but I also used the 1 Please Sit Down. Then I went, I got lots of coverage in all the races. Like I said, my best bet and my single today is Tracy Ann's Legacy, just coming out of the Captiva Island. I just thought this horse might be a speed play in there. And in the last race, and I got a long shot in there, number 4, Impressive One, 20-1 on the morning line. And people have asked us 1,000 times if Acacia and I check our selections out. We don't, and I hear through the room, Bill, that's your long shot too.
It is, and I had no idea until Ron was telling the whole office, like he normally does, this morning what his long shot was, and I said, wait a minute, that sounds kind of familiar. I feel like I talked about that horse too. So same long shot today. Hopefully it's not too much weight for that horse to carry.
Yeah, 20-1 on the morning line, ridden by Julian Leparoux. But this 5th race, as I mentioned, a mild starter optional claimer for 4 and up. We got our exacta flip-flop. We'll start it off with Mead, who's going to try and make it 2 in a row after back-to-back victories at this level and distance for Oscar Gonzalez. So I looked up a stat on Mr. Gonzalez. A winner last on the dirt at Gulfstream Park. He's good. He's 17 for 68, 25%, 62% in the money, and a nice positive return of investment of $3.66. Horse has just been in good form, and Junior Alvarado knows how to get this horse to win. He's going for the hat trick today.
He is, and the biggest thing is that he's just been so good, and he's shown a little bit more speed since moving to Oscar's barn and kind of being up in that first flight and getting that perfect stalking trip. Now, it is a tall order for any horse to win 3 in a row, especially at this level too. So I tried slightly to pick against, and I'm looking for a horse to win 2 in a row, and that's with the 8 Trapezoid, who did win on a wet track last time out, but he definitely has some backlash and some races that would make him very competitive in here. He's been around here for a while, around these parts racing, so we know him quite well. He's pretty tactical, and is drawn to the outside with Irad Ortiz up.
Yeah, Jorge Delgado, the trainer, does a really good job, and that was the first off the claim that win in the off track there. I did use the 1 Please Sit Down, who's been the model of consistency at this mile distance in 3 consecutive races, which includes the head defeat, and went second behind Mead 2 starts back. I just thought if you like Mead, maybe you put this one on your try or super ticket.
And this one does pick up Paco Lopez. I thought the 2 Hero Tiger was a bit interesting. I was hoping he might become a little bit of a price, but saw he's actually 92 on the morning line, but he ran very well in an off-the-turf race against some decent competition, finishing second just half a length behind Avant-Garde, going a mile at Gulfstream Park West.
Well, let's flip the page and we'll go to race number 6, and this will kick off our final pick 5 of the afternoon, and it's 5.5 furlong claimer 3-year-olds, $20,000 down to $16,000. And let's take a look at your late pick 5 ticket.
No singles for me. I had a little bit of a tougher time with this sequence. I'm 3 deep in this sprint race to start things off. I've got 2 horses in race number 7. I could have gone with a lot more in that 7th race, actually. That's the one I'm most nervous about getting through. 8th race, I've got 3, but very curious to see what Miss Shack is going to do off that layoff for Georgina Baxter. 9th race, the feature, I like Foxy Belle and Violenza, and I did not use your single Tracy Ann's Legacy. She was in 3rd for me. Might have to go include her as well. And yes, I do have the same long shot, Impressive One in the nightcap. Julie Bird, perhaps the horse to beat for Antonio Sano in the rail.
Yeah, I think Julie Bird is definitely the one to beat in there, and Miss Shack, as you were mentioned, that was 1 of 2 in the race for Georgina Baxter, and they scratched 1, so that usually tells you this is the one they like to run this afternoon. But with that said, I went here in race number 6 with the 2, the Ice Beast, who's dropping to the 20 level today and turning back to 5.5 after showing speed and fading. That was against allowance level competition, going longer for Mike Yates. Miguel Vasquez handling the drop down in competition. Just really like the work that Mike Yates does. You got this horse in second. Looks like a major player in here.
No, I very very much agree. I think this is a great spot for this gelding, the Ice Beast, who takes a drop. And to be honest, he actually looks a little bit similar to the one that I did land on, which is for Time Won't Let Me Go. Last two races, one was on the turf and one was against that State Bred Allowance Company. Similar kind of move as the Ice Beast did run in. But this one, I think, will be the speed of the speed with Edgar Zayas aboard for Kathleen O'Connell, who had a very strong start to the championship meet, has slowed down a little bit, but I think overall the barn has done really, really well throughout the meet. And of course, Kathleen does a great job.
Number one, Uncaptured Soldier, who I used in second, is turning back to this distance of 5.5 furlongs. Set the pace, retreated to finish fourth, beaten a little over a length that day against this level, going a mile for Kelly Breen. Paco Lopez, always adventurous jockey, and always adventurous inside post. So we'll see how the horse runs today.
Yes, absolutely. Does have some natural speed. I think was sent a little bit more stretching out to the mile last time out. But from the inside, going 5.5, it's not a bad thing to have natural speed.
And the number 3, Top Horse, named after Acacia, which bosses me around a lot of the time, turning back to his best distance thus far after stalking the pace and fading late to finish third in back-to-back sprints, contested at 6. The turnback should help.
And does have Ira Ortiz aboard, so I think we'll automatically take some attention because of that.
Okay, boss, we're going to flip the page and go to race number 7.
I'm not that bad.
Race 7 this afternoon. 5 furlongs on the turf. Claim is 4 and up. Non-winners of 3 in life. 20 down to 16. And as I mentioned, not many scratches on the card, and certainly none in this race to kick off the final pick 4 of the afternoon. And we basically have the same try, just in different things. We'll start different order. We'll start with yours, King of Rock, number 6, who's going to the Mike Maker barn.
Yeah, I had a tough time with this race. I could have gone a number of ways. Any of the 3 horses that we used, I think, could potentially be picks in here. But King of Rock, in fact, I picked one Mike Maker, you picked the other one in Star Weaver. But King of Rock is first off the claim for Mike Maker, ran back at the start of January for Michelle Nihei behind Bad Beat Brian, who wired the field and then did come back to win again with an 82 buyer speed figure. I think Javier Castellano taking the mount on this one better when he can show a little bit of tactical speed but close nicely 2 starts back. I think he's a big player and fits very nicely in this spot.
Well, the number 7 Star Weaver needs to break a little sharply. Broke slowly last time out, made that 4-wide bid, finished 5th, beating Atlanta for the whole race that time. For Mike Maker, as you mentioned, Arad is going to ride this half of the uncoupled entry. So, 6 to 1, half a dozen the other. I think you got to have both on your ticket. And we both split it with Sovereign Warrior, who was beating the neck when finishing second in front of Star Weaver at this level, 2 starts back. She didn't show much in the Silks run.
Right, but that was against much tougher. I mean, that was running against Karatari and Stakes Company in the Silks run. So I think this is just back to reality for him.
We'll go to race number 8 this afternoon, 6 furlong claimer. This one, Phillies and Mass, 4 and up, non-winners of 3 in life. Or since October 15th, so it's a dated claimer, $35 down to $25,000. And as we mentioned, we both have Miss Mashak. The scratch I was alluding to, one of the few on the card, was that R. Callie Kim, one of 2 from the Georgina Baxter barn. So Miss Mashak, like you, I was interested to see how this horse would run.
I know, hasn't run since the end of May, and that's the biggest concern here, but she has so much back class. Was running it, she's a stakes winner, won the Added Elegance back in 2019, was running against the likes of Ladies Island in the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl with previous connections, was claimed by Georgina. We haven't seen her since. We don't really see many horses on a big layoff from this barn, but you think of sprints and you I think it's synonymous, with Georgina Baxter's barn, and this one just seems to have enough class to potentially be successful in here off the bench.
Yeah, and you look at the past performances in the daily racing form, 4 for 10 with this type of layoff. So she does get the job done. That's 40%, I think. Yeah, Edgar Zayas handling return.
Yes, that's 40%, Ron.
Another horse that's coming off the bench, Jessica, who won 2 of 4 dirt sprints before going to the bench in December, returns for Mike Yates. Jesus Rios named to ride. I think this one fits nicely in there if she comes back and ready to run.
Yeah, she's a little bit of a tricky one because the last race was so disappointing. She was very fractious in the gate that day. She had a nice win prior to that. Then they tried the turf. Before that, it was almost kind of an every other kind of performance from her. But she did win first out. It's the ultimate layoff, right? Coming in as a first-time starter. So not really sure what to expect from her in here. I had some interest in the number 1, She's All Woman, who's not exactly the winningest type, but she's always right there and is in for the 35 today. I thought that she could grab a share.
Aran Ortiz Jr. will be riding for Bob Hess Jr. in that race. So race number 9. Here's where I have all my eggs in the basket. And it's 5 furlongs on the turf. Allowance optional claimer fillies and mares 4 and up. The optional claiming price of 62,500 is the feature race. And Tracy Ann's legacy is going back to what is definitely her preferred surface today. After disputing the pace throughout, when finishing third, that was in the $75,000 Captiva Island. The race was moved from the turf to the sloppy main track. Just a speed play for me, trying to just get this horse out. Good gate rider, good speed rider in Edgar Zayas. And I just wanted some coverage in the other races. Maybe Tracy can help me out today.
Yeah, see if Tracy can help you out for sure. Now, she does have speed. She has been running in some good company. And do note, if you're wondering why did she stay in the Captiva Island, it was a late move to take it from turf to dirt. Now, she has won on the dirt before, but I think that you can't be too harsh on her for the third place finish last time out because it was a late decision to go from turf to dirt in that Captiva Island, and it was very rainy that afternoon. I did land on the 1 Foxy Belle, who's in good form right now. She's stepping up in class, but I think that's always a good move when claimed by Mike Maker, and wanted to show her last race because she did it nicely. This was back on February 5th when with Saffie Joseph Jr. She got a great trip. I know she was even money that day, but she just has really run some good races all along. Had some good performances running against Tougher up at Woodbine. Swung out. She beat Precocious Peach, who was 8-5 that day, and finished up nicely in there. We'll see if she can make it 2 in a row, but she, I thought, could be the one that really trips out from that inside post.
Yeah, when you handicap the race, this is the one to beat in here. Just try and hope. I've just been watching this turf course over the last couple of days, including last weekend, yesterday, of course, on Wednesday. Speed has been awful good on this, and that was my thought of why putting Tracy Ann's legacy on top of my ticket. The number 7, Spun Glass, who have a little further down, is hoping to break trouble free. She hit the gate, breaking next to last. She rallied in that race to finish fourth for Mike Trombetta, Javier Castellano. Maybe with a clean break is closer this afternoon.
Well, she unfortunately has had the tendency to not have the best start to her races, and that's what concerns me about her a bit. Hit the gate, bumped at the start. She lost her path a couple races back. I think she's best when she can kind of be up on top of the pace and in that first flight. It's just that she has the tendency to not break that well, so that's going to be a key for her. I had some interest in the 2 Violenza, who's off of a bit of a layoff since November. Before that on the turf was running against much tougher, won a maiden special weight sprinting at Ellis, and then a tough allowance race at Kentucky Downs sprinting after that.
Yeah, that produced a couple of next down winners that last race that she was in. So that is race number 9. The feature race of the afternoon should be a very exciting one. And race number 10, 5 furlongs on the turf, maiden claiming fillies. 3-year-olds, 25 down to 20, scratch the main track only. Number 8, Pretzel. And both of us here with the 4, Impressive One. And I'll tell you why I liked it. This one moves to the Ian Wilkes barn, debuts on the turf, gets both Lasix and blinkers, broke from a tough post, and showed early speed before fading in the synthetic surface at Turfway. Added all those up, I think this horse with Julian Leparoux, who likes to get to the lead with these type of horses, maybe with all those karma changes, this one could score at a price.
And for me, it was a pedigree play. I mean, this one did debut on the synthetic, as you mentioned, at Turfway. Has worked on the turf up at Palmettos. Not very fast, but did work on the turf at Palmettos and does drop in class, so it makes sense as far as how the level goes. Blinkers on today too, but she's by Flincher and did have a sibling that won 2 times on the grass as well. So pedigree would suggest that she'll like the switch to turf.
Well, we mentioned when we were putting the tickets together, probably the one to beat in here is Julie Bird, the Irish bred.
Yeah, she finished a good second last time out. We'll take you back to that race on February 26th. And she was coming from off of it while Running Memories, the winner, wired the field. So I think that was kind of the key. And a big reason why I like, and I think you like as well, Impressive One, is that Julie Bird just tends to come from off of it. You can even see it in this replay. She is a very small filly. I've always preferred her going shorter when she switched to sprinting. She just wasn't able to catch that wire-to-wire winner, but I thought ran well last time to show that sprinting on turf is probably where we'll get her best effort.
from the Antonio Sano barn. He's also got the 6 who had some interest in this race, Alexandra and MI. And this one is turning back to 5, set the pace, faded against those 35 maidens going a mile on the grass. Jose Ortiz in the saddle. Maybe this one grabs a little piece. We basically have this almost the same exact super up there with a 20-1 shot on top.
I know, and I also included the 2 T. Waltz, who is the first foal of Ballet Diva, who we knew quite well here at Gulfstream as a dirt sprinter. Interestingly enough, though, in the second generation, the second dam was trained by Bill Mott, and she was all turf. So I'm curious to see how this one switches to the grass today.
Let's how we see it, Acacia. We see the 10 race card. We're going to go right to our lightning round right now.
Yes, we are, as of course the talk of the town this week is the Curlin Florida Derby. We drew the field yesterday in a special draw show for the 70th running of the Curlin Florida Derby. Past performances are out for the entire 14 race card. This will be race 14 of 14, and here's that field of 11.
And there you can see Greatest Honor was a visitor on the set just a little while ago. It's 6 to 5 in the morning line, looking really nice, getting schooled by Shug McGahee this afternoon. I got some interest. I'm letting it out now. I picked Greatest Honor, but I think Soup and Sandwich at 20-1 can run well in there. Johnny Velasquez in the saddle.
Well, that segues perfectly into our next point on the lightning round. Soup and Sandwich, who did win at First Asking here at Gulfstream, is a Florida bred and has been training well for trainer Mark Cassie. Soup and Sandwich is eligible for the $100,000 Florida bred bonus that will be available if he finishes in the top 3 to be paid on a 70%, 20%, 10% basis. So make sure you take a note of that, as there's an extra little incentive for Soup and Sandwich, who is a Florida bred, getting ready for this Curlin Florida Derby.
You're looking good out there, working up, and Soup and Sandwich, love the name. So I'll be rooting for him now, even more so, get that little bit of a bonus.
That's right. Love seeing those Florida breds be successful on the big stage, too. Is also on Saturday, we will have a mandatory payout in the Rainbow 6 plus big guaranteed pools in those later multi-race wagers.
Yeah, $750,000 in those late pools in the late pick 4 and the late pick 5. And who knows what's going to be in the Rainbow 6 pool. Certainly a couple of million, if not more, in the pool, without a doubt.
And the Rainbow 6 on Saturday with a 14 race card starts in race 9. Yeah, that's right. So get ready for that. As talking about drawing the fields, we also saw the post position draw for the 25th running of the Dubai World Cup, and we have several rooting interests here from the U.S.
Well, Jesus' team is our local horse that we'll certainly be rooting for, and it's going to be a good race, and that'll be the 25th running already. Wow.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Of course, was not able to happen last year because of COVID-19, so very excited to see the Dubai World Cup back this year. The morning line favorite is Mystic Guide, who, of course, is a U.S. runner for trainer Mike Stidham. We also have Sleepy Eyes Todd, who ran in the Pegasus World Cup, so be sure to tune in and cheer for our American horses.
Yeah, we also got the Zenden we know very well in an earlier race. So lots of horses from South Florida there in Dubai.
We talked a lot about some of the big performances from Junior Alvarado over the past week. He won 9 races last week, including a couple of stakes, and highlighted by that Grade 3 Hurricane Birdie win aboard Pacific Gale. Junior Alvarado was named the Jockey of the Week, so big congratulations to Junior.
Yeah, he put together back-to-back stakes wins, and boy, so lucky to have him down here this year in Florida. Good guy, and he really did some fantastic work, and he still has a few days left, so he's not done yet.
That's right, not done yet. There he is in the winner's circle with Pacific Gale in that Grade 3 Hurricane Birdie. Congratulations on those Jockey of the Week honors, as we now pay tribute to a legend in the world of racing and breeding. Sheikh Hamdan Al Maktoum, of course known with his Shadwell Stable colors, passed away at age 75. I thought it would be nice, Ron, to pull one of his big stars in Vasseur in the 2006 Breeders' Cup Classic.
Yeah, it was a great race. He didn't look like Vasseur had a chance, and then he just exploded in the stretch to win it for Sheikh Mohammed. And Shadwell, just well-known all over the world, some of the top horses ever in that barn.
Incredible breeding operation that Sheikh Hamdan put together. Condolences to his family and friends, but of course the legacy lives on with those colors that we have gotten to see on the racetrack, as we'll look forward to continuing to see those Shadwell colors in the winner's circle, and a lot of big things still to come here at beautiful Gulfstream Park. We're glad to have you with us today, as we'll send it up now to track announcer Pete Aiello for Scratches and Changes.